When it comes to players who served, Arnold Palmer attended Wake Forest College on a golf scholarship. He left upon the death of his close friend and enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard, where he served for 3 years. How about Bobby Jones? His story: in 1942, lobbied the commanding officer of his Army Reserve Group to allow him to rejoin the service a month later. The Army agreed to his request, and he was commissioned a captain in the Army Air Corps. Eventually, Jones's unit was converted to infantry, and on June 7, 1944, D-Day +1, he went ashore at Normandy.
For many injured military veterans, the desire to acclimate back to everyday civilian life is a constant struggle. Because of this, more organizations and nonprofits are using new methods to help smooth the transition. One such group, Veterans Alternative, is using golf as a form of therapy, helping veterans cope with the effects of post-traumatic stress. And for one Army Ranger, a trip abroad last year was part of a life-changing experience. Rich Lerner has the story.
Being here feels different than other places for Mike Morales. He gets to focus on the shot in front of him, nothing else. It's one of the few places where he doesn't have to think about what was taken from him. Golf, this seemingly simple yet incredibly difficult game. Where Mike Morales, that game serves many roles: therapy, recovery, and a reminder.
I just feel completely at ease and relaxed on a golf course. And that's the biggest thing, because a lot of the times I have some anxiety and paranoia, but I just feel like I'm always on the lookout. You know, I don't want to get caught behind my back again, like I did when I lost 30% of my head. It's June, so it's obviously hot in Afghanistan. We get into AC into our vehicles, which are little SUV type, and I'm right behind the driver's seat. The driver had yelled RPG, and it took me a second to register, but as soon as it did, that's when I ducked just a little, and boom.
It was June 17th, 2017, a date that will never leave Morales. He was a Green Beret, an Army Ranger on his 7th tour of duty in Afghanistan. He was a career soldier, always there for his outfit, and on a training exercise that Saturday morning.
It had come through the windshield, blown up about a foot from my head on the right, and that's essentially when I blacked out.
In the prognosis that they presented when he first arrived home, just knowing Michael, truthfully, probably would have rather died.
He was still missing, his skull. It was just his skin that was covering where his brain was, and I didn't really care. Like, I was glad that he was alive.
30% of my head was shattered right here, and they were picking out bone out of my brain, and then they cut the ridge where the plate sticks in a straighter line because it was really jagged, and it's just a massive hole.
6 months later, when the brain swelling finally subsided, doctors inserted a titanium plate to cover the massive hole in his cranium. But while survival is its own struggle, even more painful at times for many veterans like Morales is the struggle to recover a sense of self. So as Morales slowly yet miraculously regained all of his motor functions, the 31-year-old was forced to cope with the toughest realization. He was never going to be the same.
It's very difficult to look back and see how I was, and then look at myself now, and I almost feel like I'm a liability. I don't want people to see me as, oh man, look at him now, he is not the same.
We are trying to get guys back to life, guys and gals that have been hurt. And we're also looking for outlets and mechanisms in order to show them that there is life beyond injury.
And that's where golf comes in as one of those activities that has a tremendous amount of potential in working with injured veterans. Out on the golf course, you're out in the environment, usually with a small group of people that you know and trust to a certain extent, and you're actually going through each hole, taking on each of these challenges.
We currently have approximately 65,000 veterans and active that have been diagnosed with PTSD and also may have a combination of a TBI, traumatic brain injury. And the numbers on the suicide rate are totally unacceptable.
According to the Department of Veteran Affairs, on average, 20 veterans commit suicide every day.
There's not one person that I'm aware of that does not know of their buddies that have committed suicide. And it's shocking. And one day we came up with an idea, how about if we go to the Special Operations Command? Why don't you come to Waterville? It's quiet. It's a great place to be. We can have instructors from the European tour, teach them how to play golf, and let's see what happens.
Last October, Mike was one of 10 veterans of Special Forces who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder selected by Veterans Alternative to come to Waterville, Ireland to participate in its unique therapy.
The background, the scenery, the focus of all the folks on golf, it's conducive to not only the therapy, but also gives you an opportunity to concentrate on making the PTSD more tolerable.
And that's why golf is a path to healing for Morales and other veterans. Now in its 4th year, this Veterans Alternative trip has combined the beautiful game with an emerging approach for treating PTSD that's called accelerated resolution therapy.
One of the barriers to people receiving help is the idea of mental illness. It's like, you're mentally ill, so then go get help. Versus, no, this is something physical. This is what your body does to protect itself. So what I want you to do now is I want you to picture who you were before your injury. And I want you to imagine you mentoring yourself. What are you doing? Are you getting in the way, or are you helping yourself out? Go ahead, take a deep breath. Okay, we're able to picture that?
So I know when you look at it and you see it, it almost kind of looks like a hypnosis and you're like, oh, this is crazy. Unless you actually experience it, it's very different than that. It was more like frustration, patience, and that's really what I focus on, during my sessions. And you can actually, simulate some of those things when you're on the course, and it does make you feel better.
Beautiful golf shot. Now watch that. What's the reaction from that ball now? See that? That's the way to hit the golf ball.
It's immeasurable in what it does. The therapy happens on the course. The therapy happens being in the game of golf, but more so, therapy happens amongst themselves.
We've come a long way since last year, buddy. What's been the hardest part for you?
Remembering my prior self, not understanding why I'm not operating at the same level. I feel like I'm reteaching myself basic things that I used to just do. And there's some times where my mind is, I don't even know myself. It just sucks.
Well, we know you. Yeah. Your brothers know you. Yeah.
It's all about healing, giving back, and seeing improvement. And basically, when you look at these folks when they leave, in the back of my mind, I always say a short prayer. Because I want to see them again.
How and why golf has proved to be so therapeutic for wounded soldiers like Morales might be rooted in one thing they lost: consistency. When everything around him changed, the game of golf did not. As it was before and after the explosion, golf remains a consistent challenge, and it remains safe, a game that can bring new memories to cover the ones that are harder to forget.
It's like a flash where I see all the things, the hospital bed, the skull, all that stuff, and it all kind of flashes, and then I can really take it all in. And that's one of the things, how close to death, like that, changes you. You know, I've got everything ahead of me, great family, and I had a great career in the military. It's a lot.
Wow, God bless the folks at Veterans Alternative, the Simpson Cup, Wounded Warriors, and all the fantastic organizations that are helping heroes like Michael get their lives back with the assistance of our great game. David Faraday certainly paying attention to the military folks, as he does every day, but even more so on this day. David, in 2008, co-founded the Troops First Foundation. He sent out this tweet today: Happy Veterans Day to all the vets and active service armed forces. Love to you all. Tiger Woods tweeted this, recognizing this Veterans Day and grateful for his dad, Earl, who had a career in the military. Thank you, veterans, for your selfless acts, courage, and strength in protecting our freedom and keeping our country safe. Grateful to my pops and all of you for your service. Today and every day, we honor and celebrate all the brave women and men who put their lives on the line to protect our freedom by serving in the United States military. From all of us at Golf Channel, thank you and happy Veterans Day.